Have you ever looked in the mirror and noticed your hair thinning? Not just from age, but from exhaustion, stress, or years of neglecting the quiet signals your body sends? It's not vanity. It's a reflection of vitality. For most people, hair loss feels like something that happens to us, a slow fade we can't control. But what if, before you sleep tonight, there was something simple you could do? Something that helps your scalp breathe again, your blood flow awaken, your cells remember how to grow? Japan's oldest practicing doctor once said, "Hair loss is not about the hair, it's about the life force underneath." And tonight, we explore what he meant, how one mindful nightly ritual could help your body restore what time seemed to take away. Welcome back to the Longevity Mind. I'm your host, John. Tonight, we're honored to have Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara with us, a man whose decades of wisdom continue to inspire new generations. Doctor, so many people are searching for a natural way to bring life back to their hair. What do you believe truly helps the body begin that healing process?
John, the secret is not a miracle oil or a supplement. It begins with restoration. When you sleep, your body rebuilds. But most people go to bed carrying tension. Tight scalp, tight mind, shallow breath. Before sleep, gently massage your scalp for 3 minutes. Not roughly, softly with your fingertips as if you're telling your body, it's time to repair. This improves circulation, oxygen, and nutrient delivery to the follicles. Combine this with a warm towel on your head. Heat expands vessels and allows regeneration to begin.
That sounds so simple, yet so intentional. But doctor, what about people who've already lost a lot of hair? Is there still hope?
Always, the body never forgets how to heal. But you must change the environment it lives in, inside and out. Eat real food, rest deeply, and reduce inflammation through calm living. When stress hormones fall, growth hormones rise. The body begins to trust you again. Hair growth is not about looking young. It's about returning to balance.
Doctor, earlier you mentioned something very simple but profound. That true hair restoration begins not with expensive products or quick treatments, but with how we prepare our body before rest. Could you explain more deeply why this nightly ritual matters so much, and how such a small act can create such powerful change?
John, when I began practicing medicine many decades ago, I noticed something interesting. The people who aged most gracefully did not chase youth, yet somehow their hair stayed full, their skin alive, their eyes bright. I used to wonder what they were doing differently. Over the years, I realized it was not one single habit, but a way of living, a kind of deep respect for the body. And one of the most underestimated parts of that respect is what we do before sleep. You see, the body is a magnificent engineer. During the day, it spends all its energy maintaining balance, digesting, thinking, repairing tiny damages. But real recovery, the kind that reverses fatigue and restores vitality, begins only when the body enters true rest. Most people think sleep is enough. But sleep that begins with tension is not healing sleep. When your scalp is tight, when your shoulders are stiff, when your breathing is shallow, your blood vessels constrict. The tiny capillaries that feed your hair roots receive less oxygen, less nutrition, less warmth. And without warmth, the roots grow weak, not dead, just silent. They go dormant, waiting for a signal that it is safe to grow again. That signal can be as simple as your own hands. Before bed, I tell people to spend 3 minutes, only 3 minutes, gently massaging the scalp. Do not rush. Do not press hard. Think of it as waking up the skin, loosening the tightness that has built up from thinking and worrying all day. Move your fingertips in small circles from the temples to the crown, then down to the back of the neck. Feel how the heat of your hands starts to spread. This heat is not just comfort, it is circulation. The blood beneath your skin begins to flow more freely, carrying oxygen, amino acids, trace minerals, all the quiet ingredients your follicles crave to rebuild themselves. When I was young, one of my teachers used to say, "The head is where the body holds its stories. Every worry, every unspoken thought, every bit of mental fatigue sits in the scalp." That is why people under chronic stress often lose hair, not because the stress directly kills the follicles, but because it keeps the body in defense mode. The blood moves toward the core, protecting the organs, and away from the skin and scalp. The message the body receives is, this is not the time to grow, this is the time to survive. So hair loss in many cases is not a disease, It's a reflection of how long the body has been trying to defend itself from tension. That is why this simple act before bed matters. When you massage gently and tell your body, "It's time to rest now," you are reversing that survival mode. You are reminding your biology that it can return to growth, to trust, to repair. And if you add one small thing, a warm towel wrapped around your head after the massage, the effect deepens. The warmth expands your blood vessels, like morning sunlight opening a flower. More nutrients reach the follicles, and the cycle of renewal begins. It doesn't happen overnight, but slowly, like the seasons changing. The scalp becomes softer, the hair becomes stronger, and most importantly, the mind learns peace. I often tell my patients that this nightly ritual is not about the hair itself. It is a conversation with your body. You are saying, "I am listening now." The body has always been waiting for that. When you build this connection, even for a few minutes a night, the nervous system calms, cortisol lowers, growth hormones rise, and your sleep becomes deeper. This is when true healing occurs. You see, hair is a living tissue, dependent not only on blood and nutrients, but on your overall state of being. A calm body grows. A restless body decays. There was once a man in his late 70s who came to me feeling hopeless. He said, "Doctor, my hair has been falling for 20 years. I've tried everything, oils, pills, diets, nothing worked." I looked at him and asked, "Tell me about your evenings." He laughed. He said, "Evenings? I scroll on my phone until I fall asleep." So I taught him this ritual. At first he thought it was too simple to matter, but he promised to try. A month later he came back. His hair wasn't yet thicker, but his eyes were different. He said, "I'm sleeping better. I feel lighter." 3 months later, his scalp no longer felt tight and tiny baby hairs had begun to return. That is how the body responds, quietly, patiently, when you give it a chance. So when people ask me for the best hair tonic, I tell them, your hands are the tonic. Your warmth, your stillness, your willingness to stop for a few minutes each night. And if you want to make it stronger, breathe slowly as you do it. Deep breathing brings oxygen, not only to your lungs, but to every cell. The combination of breath, warmth, and touch activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's repair mode. The same process that heals wounds and regenerates. Skin cells also helps restore your hair. Many people spend years trying to change their appearance without realizing that their habits each night decide how their body will look in the morning. We wash our faces, we brush our teeth, but we forget to care for the skin that covers our thoughts, the scalp. This small shift can transform not only hair health, but emotional balance. When you sleep after such a ritual, your brain releases endorphins and melatonin more efficiently. The cells that repair your follicles work best under this hormonal harmony. And John, this is what people must understand. Nature does not waste energy on beauty unless the organism is balanced. When the inner systems align, the body begins to create beauty naturally. Hair growth is just one of many reflections of that balance. So do not think of the massage as a cosmetic step. Think of it as returning to the rhythm of life itself. Over time, you will notice not only your hair becoming stronger, but your thoughts becoming clearer, your mornings lighter, your heart calmer. Because the body is not separate parts, scalp, brain, skin. It is one continuous flow of life. The more we support that flow before sleep, the more the body rewards us with renewal. So every night before you lie down, make peace with your day. Loosen your scalp. Feel the warmth spread through your head and neck. Tell your body softly that it can heal now. That is how true restoration begins. Not from a bottle, not from a clinic, but from your own gentle hands reminding your body to live again.
Doctor, earlier you said something that really stayed with me, that hair growth is not about vanity, it's about returning the body to balance. That's such a profound way of seeing it. Most people think of hair loss as a cosmetic issue, something to fix on the outside. But you speak of it almost as a signal from within. Could you share more about what you mean, how inner balance is connected to hair, and what truly helps a person find that harmony again?
John, when people look in the mirror and see their hair thinning, they often feel a sense of loss, not only of appearance, but of time, youth, energy. Yet what they are really witnessing is the body's quiet conversation with them. Hair does not fall without reason. It responds to everything: the food you eat, the air you breathe, the thoughts you hold, the way you live when no one is watching. In that sense, hair is like the leaves of a tree. When the soil beneath is rich and the roots are nourished, the leaves thrive. When the soil becomes dry, when the roots struggle for nutrients, the leaves begin to fade. So it is with us. The scalp is the soil, the blood is the river, the mind is the sunlight. And when any one of these loses balance, the signs appear first at the surface. What I have learned after many decades of listening to patients is that the human body never punishes. It communicates. Hair loss, fatigue, sleeplessness, these are not enemies to fight but messages to decode. The body is saying, I'm tired of living in tension. You see, our modern lives pull us in too many directions. We wake up and immediately think of what must be done, not how we feel. We rush meals, ignore hunger, carry unresolved emotions, and then expect the body to look radiant. But nature doesn't work that way. The body can only grow when it feels safe, and safety comes from balance, physical, emotional, spiritual. I once treated a woman in her 50s who came to me about her hair. She was healthy by every measure. Good nutrition, good medical results, yet her hair kept falling. When I asked about her life, she smiled politely and said everything was fine. But after a few visits, she confessed that she had been living with deep grief for years. Her husband had passed away suddenly, and she had never given herself permission to rest, to cry, to feel. Every night she went to bed exhausted but restless. That grief was sitting in her body like a stone. I told her that her hair loss was not just physical, it was her body releasing what she had been holding for too long. I encouraged her to breathe deeply before sleep, to walk in the morning light, to eat slowly, to write down one thing each night that she was grateful for. Months later, her hair had begun to return, but more importantly, she said, "Doctor, I feel alive again." The balance had returned before the beauty did. This is why I say hair growth reflects inner harmony, not vanity. When your hormones, sleep cycles, and emotions are in alignment, the body begins to regenerate naturally. Stress, anger, anxiety, they all raise cortisol, and high cortisol blocks the growth phase of hair. The follicles shrink, the roots weaken, and the cycle slows. But when you live with calmness, when you cultivate patience, serotonin rises, blood flow improves, and the body remembers how to grow again. Hair is only the most visible part of this healing. It is the body's way of showing that balance has been restored. People often ask me for quick solutions, but I tell them, you cannot force nature to grow faster. You can only create the conditions where growth becomes inevitable. Just as you cannot pull on a flower to make it bloom sooner, you cannot pull on your body to regenerate. You nurture it with care and you wait. The modern world has forgotten the art of waiting. We measure progress in days and weeks, but the body measures it in seasons. Healing is seasonal. Hair growth too follows that rhythm. And balance, John, is not only about peace of mind. It's about how you eat, how you move, how you breathe. Food is not just fuel. It is information. When you eat whole living foods, vegetables grown in real soil, fruits ripened by the sun, proteins from clean sources, you are feeding your cells messages of vitality. But when you eat only for convenience, you are teaching your body to survive, not to thrive. Movement works the same way. You don't need extreme exercise. A slow walk after dinner, some gentle stretching before bed. These things restore circulation and calm the nervous system. When blood moves freely, oxygen and nutrients reach the scalp. The follicles awaken because the body feels that life is flowing again. There was a time, many years ago, when I worked with an old gardener who had beautiful, thick, white hair, even in his 90s. I asked him his secret. He laughed and said, "I talk to my plants and they talk back through my hair." It sounded poetic, but I understood what he meant. His days were simple. He worked with the earth, felt the sun, ate when hungry, rested when tired. His life had rhythm. His body trusted him. That trust is what keeps the body in balance. When the body trusts, it gives back. And that is what people must remember. Hair loss is not a curse, it is a teacher. It asks, where have you lost your rhythm? Are you sleeping enough? Are you breathing fully? Are you living in alignment with what you know is right for you? When you start to answer these questions honestly and make small, steady changes, you'll notice your body responding in unexpected ways. Not only does hair begin to strengthen, but your face softens, your digestion improves, your mood lightens. Balance in one area creates balance in all others. Sometimes before prescribing anything, I simply ask my patients to change their nighttime environment. Dim the lights an hour earlier, stay away from screens, listen to soft music, practice gratitude. You'd be surprised how many biological systems respond to this calm. Hair growth hormones are released most efficiently during deep sleep. But deep sleep does not come from exhaustion. It comes from peace. So inner calm is not just spiritual advice. It is a biological necessity. When you live this way, you stop fighting your body and start working with it. You realize that hair, skin, and even aging itself are not problems to fix, but reflections of how harmoniously your life is moving. The greatest beauty comes from stillness, from a body that is trusted and cared for. So I tell people, don't think of your hair as decoration. Think of it as your health speaking to you. Every strand that falls is a whisper saying, "Giddy, slow down." Every new strand that grows is your body saying, "Thank you." When you live with that awareness, you will never need to chase youth. You will simply embody it, because balance makes you radiant in a way no product ever can. That is what I mean, John, when I say hair growth is not vanity, but a reflection of inner peace. It's the body's way of showing that harmony has been restored, that you are no longer fighting against yourself, but finally living in rhythm with life again.
Listening to you, Doctor, I'm reminded that healing isn't something we chase. It's something we allow. Whether it's our hair, our energy, or our peace of mind, everything begins when we finally choose to slow down and listen to what the body's been trying to say all along.
Yes, John. Health is not found in medicine alone. It lives in every quiet choice we make. How we breathe, how we rest, how kindly we speak to ourselves. Longevity is not about counting years, but about living each day awake, grateful, and unhurried. When you give your body peace, it rewards you with life. When you give your heart stillness, it rewards you with clarity. Every night, let your body heal, and every morning begin again.
If this conversation moved you, subscribe and keep growing with us, one mindful episode at a time.